hometown, or do you have a different hometown?
I was born and raised in Casa Grande. My family's all from here. They moved over here in the 40s, 50s, from Texas to come with the farming community to farm, agricultural. And they stayed here. And my mom, she was raised in Yuma and everywhere else, you know, the Valley, the Brownsville, Texas area. And she met my dad here. And so I was born at Hamaco Hospital in Casa Grande, and then came to Eloy for a small time, and then was raised in Casa Grande after that. So I'm a product of Cottonwood School and the junior high on McMurray, then the high school. The old Main was on Florence Boulevard, and then I'm here now. So a lot of my family moved out. I've actually moved in, so here I am.
So just for fun, what did you want to be when you were 17 years old?
Well, good question. I wanted to be I participated a lot at the radio station in Casa Grande, and I always wanted to do that. I was in school. I did play-by-play for the high school TV station, and that was always fun for me, you know. And I had an opportunity to go to CAC with a mass communication scholarship, but I messed that up. But my interest has always been something like that. It's weird because my son picked up on that, and so he went to school for communications and worked at radio stations and met a lot of people in Las Vegas. And his last job, he was with Live 101.5 in Phoenix as the promotions manager, director. And so when COVID hit, he kind of went away from there. But you know, I always liked law enforcement as well. Being a police officer, I wanted to be a police officer. You know, life kind of takes you one way from another. But yeah, that was kind of my thing. I wanted to kind of do that.
So what made you want to run for public office?
I got involved with the community. Well, let's go back to when I was in elementary school. We took a field trip to City Hall at Casa Grande, and on one of the plaques it said Powell. So I'm like, I want to sit in his chair. So I sat there. I'm like, this is pretty cool, you know. I never aspired. I ran for student council in junior high, and things like that. Never wanted to really get in politics before. At the time I started getting involved with the boards and commissions here in Eloy, I worked at a funeral home, and I got onto the Eloy Cemetery Board. And from there I started attending the meetings and going to planning and zoning, going to city council meetings at the old city hall. And I said, well, this is pretty cool. And a couple people said, well, you should run for council. Never, I was only living here for a couple of years, trying to just get my name out there, getting involved. I was in the Lions Club and stuff like that. So I said, well, I'm going to run, and back then I didn't know a lot of people here in Eloy, so I had to really go out and politic, who I am, get people to know who I am. And that's how I got involved. And I went from council in 2012, ran, I was the highest vote getter. It was my first time running. And I automatically got, a seat on the council in 2012, and just kind of worked my way up from there. Just showed my passion to the community. And here I am in 2020, get elected as a mayor. Who would have thought that? I still pinch myself because I never would have thought I'd be a mayor. And so it's not a perfect. You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And to have the life experiences that I went through, to be where I'm at now, it's quite an accomplishment. Some people just, I'll be honest, I was afraid that some of my skeletons would have came out of the closet, but I'm not afraid to tell my stories. It's a testimony for not just me, but for kids. Like, if you mess up, you can be homeless, you can mess up and do all this stuff, and one day turn around and be the mayor of a community, or just be someone people look up to. that's important. People can actually feel the passion because you've experienced more than anybody else. And so I brought that with me. I'm bringing that with me. How can I better the community? Living in Casa Grande, you've seen everything kind of grow from there. So, well, they can do it, or why can't we do it here? You kind of look outside the box. And so I kind of put all that together, and this is who I am. I'm no different from anybody else. Just because of the title. I'm more of a punching bag now because everybody goes to the mayor or goes to council for issues. But overall, you're just like everybody else. You pay the same taxes as everybody else. Your home is here in Eloy too. So the decision that we make as a council affects us too as a resident. And we have to put what's best for the community first. So I saw that getting involved to when I was sitting in there. I was really interested in planning and zoning because that's kind of like the AAA league, I guess you could say, before you go to council. And I like to see what was going on. So here I am. I'm enjoying it. I really have. So we all experience this. Just because my office is here, I still drive the same roads. And I complain about potholes. And I hear people complain about their roads. And so I get it. And you have to be here for the people. And you have to remember who got you there was the people. And so it's very important that you do listen. So regardless of your race, regardless of your financial stability or the lack of, just that you're there, being a representation of the community, and that's what you need to have. It's not about who drives the nicest car. It should be the mayor. It's what can you do for the people as mayor?
Exactly. Thank you so much for that. And as mayor, what are your responsibilities?
Well, I'm just one vote. When you're up there, I made myself, when I took over, I changed the policy, code, and conduct of the council and mayor, that I'm just one vote. I can't go and say veto this or pick and choose what I want to come to the council. I'm the leader of the meetings. I'm the spokesperson, the lobbyist, the representative of the community. And that's what the mayor does. I made sure that everybody on the council is all one. It's just that I just run the meetings. And you kind of take that away from the past where the mayor would, kind of maybe, pick and choose what comes on the agenda. I feel like if my council members feel strongly about something, then let's bring it to the council. Let us decide. Versus, no, I don't like that idea. I'm not gonna do that. Because if they feel passionate enough, they should be heard. And if it passes, well, you need 4 votes. If it doesn't, well, you need to get 4 votes. So that's one thing about me, and establishing relationships is something that you do as a mayor. You knock on a lot of doors and you invite people over, and you tell people who you are, why Eloy is important, why your community is important. Because when things happen, they don't look at our department heads, they look at the mayor. And so it's very important that I'm out there and people see me. So that's what's different about mayors or your local government. I truly believe the best form of government is your local government, because you see me at the store, you see me in the park, you see me in a dunk tank at 4th of July. You don't see anybody else, so I'm right there for you guys. And that's, it also brings, people who didn't care about their community to actually get involved and care because they see me being active. So okay, well, maybe we finally have a voice, or we have a voice, a stronger voice. So that's what I do, as the mayor.
That's great. Like you said, a representative of the people. And what has been the most rewarding part of being in office?
for me personally, having my kids see that. Letting them, see their dad or now grandfather, be somebody that people respect, that's personal. My wife, they're, in a small community, everybody knew the mayor, they know who's on council. But a lot of times there's a disconnect, and so I think for me, just personally, it's saying if someone like me can do it, then anybody can do it. Showing my family that your cousin, your primo, is now a mayor, and my brother being so proud. It's not like my head's getting swollen or anything like that. It's just, I did something that a lot of people, were scared to do. And so I made sure that personally that I set that legacy. My name will always be affiliated with the city of Eloy as a mayor, with my name on buildings, which that's not why you do this for your, you don't do this for the name on your building, but it's an accomplishment. I remember last year, on election day, I went to the cemetery and visited my nana and papa, and my family was over there. And I said, you know what, you guys? It is what it is. Let's do this. And then afterwards, going over there, putting my mailer on their headstone and said, we did it, you guys. It was things like that, personal accomplishments. And but for the city side, it's for my residents, it's giving them an opportunity to be successful. You bring in the jobs, you bring in the housing, they can continue living here now. You work with the school district, how can we help each other out now? A lot of jobs are being created right now, not just here in Eloy, but around us. And so it's giving our youth something to look forward to versus saying, now what do we do? Do we go get in trouble? Do we, are we stuck here? Do we become a statistic? Now you can graduate from Santa Cruz, go get a job at Lucid the next day, and you're making more money than your parents did at that age. It's being able to work like that, and opportunity. We need to give everybody an opportunity, and I think that's what I'm striving for, and that's what I'm going, moving the city forward and giving everybody an opportunity. So professionally, that's what it is, and knowing that council members that I've grown up with or that have known me since I was a baby, like, man, Micah did it, I remember when this. Chris Vasquez, our police chief, he used to babysit me when I was a baby. He's very proud that he used to change my diapers. And so it's having that, it's things like that. So, I'm real. I'm not fake. I don't stand on a soapbox. I don't pretend to be. And so that's one of my accomplishments is saying that, one of us did it. Even my friends who have been in trouble and are, still struggling, I can go to I went to a little gathering on the west side of Casa Grande, and they're like, Micah, homie, one of us did it, and it's that, and so it's changing the outlook of who people are, and I think that's what I've done, as a mayor. So.
That's awesome. It's so inspiring. And on the other side of wins and rewarding experiences comes challenges. So what has this role demanded of you, both as a person, but specifically as an elected official with power and influence?
As my first term as mayor, the hardest thing would be knowing that if I go anywhere, somebody's going to talk to me. I have a great family support group. My wife, we can go anywhere. I'll we'll walk into somewhere, someone's talking to me, she just goes shopping, comes right back and picks me up on the way out. That's probably the hardest thing to do is realize that, you're not a mayor from 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. You're a mayor 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So that's kind of been hard to kind of readapting our lifestyle, knowing that I can get phone calls from city staff, what's going on at a moment's notice. I've also had a great support group, support from when I worked at the Pinal County, and then now at the funeral home where I work at right now. So the most difficult thing is I've had to reestablish relationships and sell who the city is. That's been kind of hard because Eloy was kind of just the black sheep of Pinal County, you could say, kind of on its own. And we'll just take whatever comes to us. And that's been hard for me or the black cloud, the perception of the community. Don't go to Eloy, it's drugs and crimes, which is far from it. And so it's been a challenge, but I think I've brought everybody's perspective who the town is, who the city is, to a different level, different mindset of who we are now. And that's kind of been the tough one, and because I'll hear it all the time, the city this is, well, I can argue about that. That's not true. And I'll tell you why. And then afterwards, okay, I understand that. You have the highest crime rate. We have 4 prisons here. And so we have to go to all the calls of the prisons. So yeah, our crime, but is it really the city of Eloy? Or is it just, affiliated with the city of Eloy, with our population of the prison? So you have to educate them as well. And, just bring the positive. You're gonna have negative everywhere you go. But if you tell the people the positive side of what we're doing with Main Street, it's education, and you think I'd be a doctor in education just by teaching everybody what the city's doing, and so re-engaging and having people bring trust to the city council now, and understand that it's for the people. So, it's been fun, going to these meetings and people knowing me from being on the council and working my way up. So it wasn't like, hi, I'm the new mayor, who are you? They've known me of being active and being presenting or at wherever they need me to be, representing. I think I've done a good job representing the city. That's been the hard part, I guess you could say. Economic development, we're all in constant competition with each other. What's best for them, is it best for us? So, we're bringing in housing, and that hasn't been hard. That's been, we've got the land, come to us, we got you. So, we've had some change in staff here, but that's minimal. The hardest part was changing the perception of the community. So, I tell everybody, I did my best to remove this black cloud that's always been hanging over the city. So, that's pretty much the hard part. So, yeah. But it's getting easier though.
That's good.
It's easier because people can see that, who we are now. So, I enjoy it. I like a challenge.
Yeah, definitely. And that is a challenge, engagement and education, but so necessary. And I'm so glad that you have taken that on and really advocated for your community. And you've talked about economic development and some different challenges that face the city. If you could snap your fingers and solve one problem, what would it be?
As a city, as a whole, I've got a laundry list. Do we look at as the youth? Drugs, education, stay in school, fentanyl, stay away from that, how dangerous it is. To go to like more of a overall, where's the city going to be at with water in the next 50 to 100 years? Where can we get all this money just for us instead of having every city in America have to compete for federal money? It's hard to pinpoint one thing because we need a lot of help, and that's where I come in, advocate for the city. But are we going to be able to take every drug off the street? No. You have people that are idiots and they want to destroy our kids, our youth. Can I call our president and say, I want all the money to Eloy? No. Give me some. So I wish I could snap my fingers, just change it all, but it's hard to because there's so many, and it just doesn't affect here in Eloy. It affects everybody around us. I wish we had more retail. I wish we didn't have to have a high tax. I wish we had housing boom, just everybody influx of housing. It's a slow progress, it's progressive progress, and I think that overall there's going to be a time where we're not going to have to rely on federal funds, and we can do things on our own and things like that. So we're still in the growing stages. So even though Eloy's been here forever, we still have a lot to do. So I can't just pinpoint out just one, but it's an influx of everything. The fentanyl affected my house, personally, and then when I worked up in Pinal County, professionally. And so I would love to see anybody who has anything to do with that drug be locked away forever, with no food and water, So that's probably the personal side of it all. But we have so much to do. I can't snap my fingers on that, because if you go from one drug, they'll find another one. So that's the hard part. So education, we have to educate our kids, we have to educate our public, what to do, what not to do, what to look for, what not to look for. So we're growing.
Definitely. And I want to pivot a little bit now to talk about voting and how important voting is. So, in your opinion, why is exercising the right to vote so important?
People feel that, especially nowadays, that their vote don't count. When in actuality, it does. It's very important for them to vote. Whether it works out for you and your personal ideas or it doesn't, you have that right to vote. The best form of government is your local government, right here. As I said that before. In order for you to get involved, voting is your biggest voice. I think it's very important. And I hear a lot. Well, I don't vote. But I'm going to complain about everything else. Well, you have a right to vote. You should vote because that is part of your voice. And some people just don't get that. And I really think it's important that everybody has an opportunity to vote. It's important, very important. That's your right as an American to vote. I really feel strong about this. I want people to vote, whether it's like I said, whether it's for them or against their ideas. They have a right. That's what our founding fathers gave us. And so we need to educate further. It needs to go just the fundamentals of voting, not just because your family is a Republican or your family is a Democrat. It's why are we voting? I know people that have been Republicans their whole life and they're switching over for whatever. You have that right. And so it's important that we have that right to do that. So I remember my vote in high school, and I was in that little ballot, little whatever it was, and doing the little, and notice how with the technology nowadays, and so I've always made sure that I had my time and my opportunity to vote, because I didn't think everybody's votes count, regardless of what is being said out there. It's just be proud that you have an opportunity to vote.
And you've already alluded to the fact that local elections are so important. Why are they as important or more important than federal and state races?
Because we're here. We're tangible. They can touch us. You know, a lot of times, the only times we see our, state senators, they're in D.C. is during election time. They're infighting amongst themselves in Washington. You come down to the state and local area. It's, even though I'm friends with a lot of the people who are running right now. Your best form of government is your local government, because you can actually come to my house. You can call me. You can come to the office. You can schedule times with me. Not saying you can't do it anywhere else, but it's more valuable to know who represents you as a community. I was at a place the other day at a restaurant. Everybody just kept looking at me, and finally I said, "Hi guys," and they're like, "Are you the mayor?" I'm like, "I am. Very nice to meet you guys." And having that, people were like, "Wow, you're the mayor." I lived in my old house in Illinois for 40 years, and I never met the mayor. And here I am being the mayor now. And I'm like, yeah, that's because that's what we do. We're here for you guys here as a local elector. And so I really think it means a lot, And your voice is more heard at a council meeting versus at a state or federal. County, county's still within there's still the area where you can, still get involved in so it's right at the same where I think the board of supervisors in the city are pretty much, same thing, because we know everybody, and we focus on what is for here. So whether it's animal control, or roads or grants for homes, or that's what we do here at the city council. We think about our area first. So it's like I said, it's tangible. People know who they are. So
yeah, you touch people on a daily basis. What is one final message you would like your community to hear about their right to vote?
It's very important to get out. It's very important that you have your voice heard. It's very important that we get involved. It's very important that we feel that we feel comfortable to come outside and vote. It's very important that you say something, and that's the important part of voting. You're saying something, and so you need to understand that we're all going to disagree. Things are not going to go our favor because of the voting. You have a right to vote. That is your voice. And so I encourage everybody to get out and vote. And then encourage other people to get out and vote. Feel comfortable to vote. And we need to break that barrier. We need to take the fear away from that and understand the importance of that, of voting. And so, especially in times like now, here in Pinal County, we're having issues right now. But, we need to vote. You need to put your voice out there. That's why I tell people, are you registered to vote? No. You're 40 years old. You never registered? I never voted. Well, why? Maybe your one vote could have changed an outcome. You don't know that. So I'm a strong supporter of getting out and vote. And be counted during census too. People are scared to open the doors. Things like the census hurts a community. So, get out and be seen, get out and be heard, be counted, vote. That's what we need to do as a community, as a whole, as a nation. So.
Such a powerful message. Thank you so much. And closing it out, is there anything else that you would like to add?
In troubling times as this, around the world, we need to stay connected to who we are. Don't lose sight of your community. Don't be influenced by negative or just by personal emotions. Do what's best for you and your family first and foremost. Cities, towns, and nations will be there forever. We're not. You know, we have our lives, and let's live our lives to the fullest. Let's let a legacy for our kids, our grandkids, you know, and therefore to be proud of the accomplishments that we have. Let's remember why we're here. You know, to be heard, to be seen, to be touched. You know, as the mayor, given an opportunity for our kids, not just our kids. We got 40-year-olds who need a second chance. Let's give them an opportunity. Nobody is better than anybody else. We're all one race. So the human race. So it's very important that we do this. You know, let's be friends. Let's let it go. People are looking up to us. Our kids are looking up to us right now. And so let's set an example for them of who we are and how we can better each other. You know, love thy neighbor. Go visit your neighbor. You know, it's important as that. You know, and take politics out of the side, away from everything, and just be cool. Be nice. Respect other people's, you know, ideas. Respect their views. You know, it goes a long way. You know, we can agree to disagree and still hug each other at the end of the day. You know, when you see somebody in an accident, you don't pull over and say, "Are you this? Are you that?" You say, "Do you need help?" Because you can care less of what they are when somebody needs help. Be that lending hand, that helping hand for people. And you know, just remember, we're here for a purpose. For whatever purpose it is, find your purpose and take off with it. You know, be proud of who you are. Don't be ashamed of your past. Take that as a testimony and educate the people like I have. You know, so it's troubling times, emotional times right now, but we're making it better. You know, one day at a time, and it all starts with the heart. You don't need all the degrees in the world to be a nice human being. You just have to have a heart and compassion, you know, and respect. Respect goes a long ways. So, you know, you never know what somebody's going through. And especially with me working at a funeral home, somebody has it worse than I have, than I'm going through right now. So, you know, that's something that we need to do as individuals. Tomorrow's never promised. So, you know, right until the wheels fall off. You know, just if somebody's wearing a hat that has some kind of wording on there, or a T-shirt or whatever, you know, thank them. Thank a veteran. You know, buy somebody a cup of coffee because you don't know what they're going through. So I'm a big supporter of that. I think that's what we need as you know, individuals. You know, so that's my story. You know, that's what I kind of live on. I try to preach on. I'm not perfect. But if I can make somebody else have somebody else look up to me, or be that one that they can call on, then I'm here. So it's being a great husband, father, grandfather now, brother, son, anything in the middle. People are looking at you. People are looking at, we're watching. And so do good. It goes a long way.